Well, I would say, first of all, that there are more than 300 million co-owners of that land, and we live in a democracy, and if you've got a good argument that you think you can persuade a majority, of our citizens to change that, there's a place that happens. And it doesn't happen at the end of a gun. It doesn't happen by going in and taking over a place. It ends by changing the law. So that's the reason it belongs to us as part of our democracy and part of our system of government. So that's where they would need to take their argument. I think the reason that they don't like that is because it's a hard argument to make. You may or may not know that the Isaac Walton League, in the late 1940s, there was an incredible fight over the potential expansion of Grand Teton National Park. The valley was about to be, was being developed. It was also ranch land that was, under the jurisdiction of the Forest Service, and some of it was privately owned, and John D. Rockefeller Jr. slowly had acquired most of the land and gave it to the federal government if they would then use it to expand the national park so that beautiful valley would not be commercialized. President Franklin Roosevelt, using the authority of the Antiquities Act, was able to create a national monument, saying that he wanted eventually for it to be made a national park, but that for the moment he would make it a national monument. So a group of ranchers, outraged at that, challenged the federal government to do anything as they drove a herd of cattle across this new national monument. And over time, a compromise was reached, but it became part of Grand Teton National Park. Part of that fight, the Isaac Walton League took part in to try to convince Congress and people of Wyoming that this was actually going to be good for them. And it eventually prevailed. And in our film, we include an interview with then young rancher who was part of that protest, who then went on to become a governor and then a senator of the state of Wyoming. But he said, as it turned out, he was wrong, that expanding the park and preserving that valley was the best thing that could happen to that area that he called home and the area around Jackson. That over time he could see how good it was for the economy of Jackson, how good it was for everyone who loved the place, that it didn't get carved into subdivisions, and that it was better for everyone and for the nation.